Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Monday. I know Monday is a hard day for a lot of people. Monday usually is a dragging day. Not too many people like to get up. A lot of people get up cranky because they got to go to work. But this is how life is. I was thinking this morning while I was driving, doing my usual donut deliveries, because of the calls that I've been getting, which are not many, but there are few in the past and in the present. And I was saying to myself, is it possible that we have gotten so bad that there are no good elders, whether in Palo, whether in Orisha, Santeria, how they call it, or whether in Ifa or 21 Division or whatever. Is it possible that in these days, all the paleros, all the santeros, all the babalaos, all the practitioners of these spiritual traditions and customs and ways of life, is it possible that all of them could be bad? Are there not good ones out there? Is it that they don't exist anymore? And the reason why I say this is because, I get calls sometimes, right? And what I do is I listen. How you doing? Okay, all right. What's going on? Let me know what you're going. What's the problem? What's the deal? What's going on with you? What is it that I can do for you? And we start from there, right? And I start hearing and just listening to what they say. And the majority of the people that call, they are coming from another house. We're speaking about another Munanso. They're not calling me for Ocha, for Ifa, no, that's not what I practice. But I include the other ones because it happens even with the other ones, traditions and other faiths. So I just listen. And when they start talking to me, I just start listening. And I start asking myself, who is saying the truth? Because there's your truth, your elder's truth, and the truth. And what you are explaining to me seems regurgitated throughout the people that have contacted me. Meaning, a lot of the calls are people that's saying that the padrino, they've been a long time in this Munanso, and the padrino's holding them back, that the padrino's not giving them certain spiritual powers, and so on and so forth, or that they feel like they are being scammed, and I start just thinking, you understand? Because we understand that there are people out there that do this. We already have spoken this many times, yes. But not every elder, whether male or female, does this. What is the problem? So I have to come down and think, man, it can't be. It cannot be that all the elders in the tradition are not treating their godchildren correctly, are not teaching them, are not giving them certain powers that they should have or need to receive, what is going on? And my mind starts going wild. Just I'm looking for angles. I'm looking for ways of how to see, different ways of how to put all this conundrum together. And it has come to the conclusion, or I came to the conclusion, that it's not true. Why? Because when an elder doesn't give you something, it's either because you don't need it, or you're not ready to receive this. You can't bear it. You don't know how to use it. You don't know how to manipulate it. You don't know what you're doing if they give it to you and they don't want to ruin you by giving you that. Or they tell you it's an X amount of money to receive this, and since you don't agree with that amount of money, you don't get it from them. So now you start complaining. And what happens? You start forming stories and things in your mind. You forget about all the good parts of your elder, whether male or female, and you start only looking at the negative side from your end. You looking at it as that negative, not the elder. You are. And what happens? You decide to leave that house. Or between the transcourse of that, you start looking to speak to other elders who would give you what you want. And this where comes in the sale of religious, or the sale of certain powers. Now it's not because you need it. Now it's not because it benefits you. Now it's not because you're not supposed to have it right now, this moment, but you don't know what to do with it, how to handle it, how to deal with it, how to manipulate it, how to use it. Now it's all about them selling you something just for they could make some money, and you'll be content receiving what your padrino madrina is not giving you at the moment, but you're content on receiving or going or switching to another Enzo, because over there they're going to give you what you want. And that's a problem, because you left a lineage where you started from that was great, and just because they don't give you a certain power, or you don't receive something, or you don't get something that you want, that doesn't give you the authority to leave your elders. But because you want these things, you might find that your elder charges you an amount, and you look at it as, I'm not paying that. And then you go out and you look around, you start speaking to these other practitioners that all they care is about money. And if over here costs you 9 or 10,000, he's charging 3 or 4,000 over here. That sounds better to you. The money amount sounds better to you. Not what you're getting. What sounds good to you is the money, the amount, and the freedom of receiving that of that other elder where you were before. You wasn't receiving, you was not going to get at the moment. So I start looking at all these things and evaluating these things, and I start noticing that a lot of people in the tradition, when they come in, they want everything at once. And in this tradition, in this way of life, this doesn't work this way. You cannot receive everything at once. how I don't care how much money you got. You could have the money to buy the 7 fundamental Ngangas, and you'll find somebody that'll sell it to you. Yes, there's somebody out there that will sell you the 7 fundamental ones. But are they right? Are they correct? Do they work? Do they have spirituality? Do they have everything they have that they're supposed to have? Are you ready to deal with those 7 Ngangas? Are you really ready to deal with that? Do you know what that takes? Do you know the discontrol that you're going to have when you receive that? All at one shot? Because you think in your mind that having all 7, even if they done correctly, there's not going to be no imbalance. You think that just by receiving them and having them, you got the power. And there's nothing that could touch you. But you forget to realize that when you receive those 7, if you receive them all at once, the chaos is going to bring you. Why? Because you're not ready for it. You don't know how to control that. You understand? If you can't control one and manipulate one and use one, how are you going to control 7, 8, 9, whichever ones you get? Why does everybody want to have all the Ngangas at once? Why does everybody want to have chichiricos? All these things that people are looking for, and because they padrino madrina says, no, I'm not giving it to you right now, or you're not ready for it, you get upset, you want to leave the house, you start talking against your elders, and you start disrespecting them, and you start making them look bad. Just because what you want to receive, they don't give it to you at the moment. Like a child. Child want a candy, you don't give it to them, they pull a tantrum. This is what's happening. I don't know how long it's been. All I could tell you is from the time that I've been in Palo. This has been happening since I got into Palo. Or since I was called into Palo. This has been happening. But I have just not paying no attention to it because I'm me. I'm looking for my salvation, my well-being, my good path, my way of living, to live a tranquil life, to live a complete cycle of life, to have a good family, calm, to live in a decent home with food on the table, be able to pay my bills, hope that I don't get sick to an extent, and if I do, the Nganga is there that could help me out, you understand, to overcome these obstacles. But people these days want everything. Like, having everything is going to make you a better pilot or a better practitioner than anyone else. Listen, you can have 7 Ngangas, and a person could have 1. And because that person knows how to implement, how to practice, is humble, that 1 Nganga does more than your 7. You understand? This is how real this is. There are Ngangas out there so well built that, believe it or not, I'm not even going to say it. Just out of respect. But this is the things that I think about. This is what came to mind. I was thinking about this last night, sitting down, listening to a couple of the stories. Last call I have got about a week ago. Before that, I have gotten calls and other calls, and I keep hearing this over and over and over and over. My tata doesn't want to give me this power. My tata doesn't want to give me this tratado. My tata this, my tata that. Man, he gives the other. I've been longer than the other brother there, and this brother already got 3 Ngangas, and this one over there got. Come on. When it's your time, it's your time. if you see that you're being scammed, you have to really understand that you're being scammed. If you understand that you're being scammed, then you get up and you go. Simple as that. Or you tell your tata or your yaya, listen, I'm leaving the house. I thank you for your services. I'm gonna progress on. I don't feel right here or whatever. You just leave. You don't have to talk trash behind their back. You don't have to do none of that. You know, it's all upon you what you want to say, what you don't want to say. But this is what I have noticed. This is what I think. You know, that a lot of times it's happening, because it can't be that all the practitioners, the elders out here, are these type of people. They can't be. You know, there has to be a balance. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you guys reflect on these things and make sure that whatever Enzo you in, you're learning step by step, little by little, and that things fall when they fall when it's for you. You understand? If you got a good elder, you know, whether male or female, you know, sometimes an elder doesn't have a treaty. Let's say you have an elder, right? Before I leave, just came to mind real quick. And he has, let's say, 3 ngangas, right? Or 4 ngangas. Let's say 4 ngangas, right? But he doesn't have the treaties. He was never given the treaties of how to build. He probably knows somewhat what it takes to build another one of another force, but he doesn't have it complete. Then how could he give you something he doesn't have? That's another way, another thing also. How can he give you something that he does not have? You want him to invent something out of the air? There's a whole bunch out there, they'll do it for some money. Just things to think about. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Please thumb up the video for the algorithm. My email address is w3kin1973@gmail.com. You send me an email, I read the email. If I see you're a respectable person, and honest, or a real person, in other words, I email you back with my phone number. We have a chat over the phone, or we have a nice text. Have a great day.